Philadelphia, November 2011. Pennsylvania Hospital, 4th floor, private room. Joe Frazier lying in hospital bed, 67 years old, liver cancer, advanced stage, few days left, maybe few hours, family and room, Florence, his wife, children, Jackie, Wiata, Hector, Joseph, Marvis, grandchildren, everyone silent, waiting, breath held, heart monitor, beep, beep, slow, steady, but weakening. Marvis sitting beside bed, 49 years old, holding father's hand, warm, but very weak. Bones felt under skin, strong hands. Once shook the world, now so light, so fragile. Joe opens eyes, slowly, difficult, looks at Marvis, eyes blurry, but recognizes, always recognizes his son. Voice whisper, very weak. Marvis! Marvis leans forward, brings ear close to father's lips. I'm here, Dad. I'm here. Joe takes breath. Difficult. Lungs not working like before. Each breath a battle, but must speak, must say something. Do you remember Manila? Marvis smiles, crying, tears streaming from eyes but smiling. Yes, Dad. Every day I remember. Every day. Joe, tell me, what do you remember? Marvis takes deep breath, closes eyes, goes back, 36 years back, to 1975, to age 13, to that night. Dad, I was 13 years old, watched the fight on TV. You came home from hospital. Your face was unrecognizable, both eyes swollen, bruised, and I swore to you. I said I'll never box. Never, never in my life. Pauses, throat tightening. I hated boxing that day, because boxing did this to you, hurt you so badly, and I wanted to protect you. But how could I protect you? You'd already fought, already suffered. Joe nods, head slightly. Listening, eyes closing, but listening. Marvis continues. But then, 2 days later, you took me in the car. Do you remember, Dad? We parked by Schuylkill River, and you talked, 8 minutes, just 8 minutes. Opens eyes, looks at father. Those 8 minutes changed my life, Dad. You told me about South Carolina, your father beating you, cotton fields, meaningless pain. Then you told me about boxing gym, chosen pain, meaningful pain. Voice strengthening. Because remembering every word, you said, Marvis, life will give you pain. That's real. But there are two kinds of pain. One dictated to you can't control. The other you choose, you make meaningful. Boxing gave me second kind of pain, gave me freedom, gave me control. Joe's lips moving, silently repeating, control. Marvis nods. Yes, Dad, control. You taught me. Pain is inevitable, but meaning is yours to give. And that day, in those 8 minutes, I understood. Boxing didn't hurt you. Boxing saved you. Pauses, squeezes father's hand. 1 year later, I started boxing. 14 years old. Because you were right. I wanted to choose my own pain, my own path. And boxing gave me freedom too, just like it gave you. Joe opens eyes, looks at son, eyes showing pride, tiredness, but pride. Whispers, good choice, son. Marvis puts head on father's hand, crying, silently. Thank you, Dad, for 8 minutes, that changed my life, for teaching me to be a man. Joe's hand in Marvis's hair, gently, last time, maybe. You were already a man, Marvis. I just showed you. Silence. In room, only heart monitor sound. Beep, beep, beep. Florence beside them, crying, Jackie crying, everyone crying, because they know this is last conversation, last moments. But Marvis raises head, looks at father. Dad, people should know those 8 minutes. Can I tell them at your funeral? Joe smiles, weak but smiles. Tell them, everyone should know. Choosing pain, controlling it. Takes breath. Difficult, very difficult. Being free, and closes eyes. breathing, in, out, slow, steady. Marvis sits, holding hand, waiting, because hasn't said goodbye yet. Not yet. One more thing to say. Dad, you're my hero, not just as boxer, as man, as father. You taught me what life means, what pain means, what choice means, what freedom means. Joe doesn't open eyes, but listening, because hand slightly squeezes Marvis's. Marvis, I love you, Dad, forever, and those 8 minutes I'll never forget. Never. 2 days later, Joe dies. November 7th, 2011, 11 p.m., family beside him, peacefully. But story doesn't end, because funeral coming, things to tell, those 8 minutes people need to know. Funeral day, November 14th, 2011, Enon Tabernacle Baptist Church, Philadelphia, 2,000 people inside, hundreds more outside, spectators, fans, former boxers, celebrities, media. Everyone came to say goodbye to Joe Frazier. Casket at front, closed, polished wood, white tulips around, Joe's favorite, photos on walls, Joe young, Joe champion, Joe smiling, Joe living. Speeches begin. Pastor, friends, former opponents. Larry Holmes speaks. Joe treated me like brother. Don King speaks. Joe was real champion. Everyone talking about Joe, strength, honor, character. Then Marvis walks to podium, 49 years old, suit and tie, but eyes red. From crying, stands in front of microphone, looks at 2,000 people, takes deep breath, begins. When my father died, his last word was free. He told me, teach people to be free. And I'm here to tell you a story, to tell you the most important lesson my father taught me. Pauses, wipes eyes. 1975, October, Thrilla in Manila. Maybe most brutal boxing match in history. My father and Muhammad Ali, 14 rounds of hell. Final round, Eddie Futch stopped fight. Because my father couldn't see. Eyes swollen, closed, voice breaking. I was 13 years old, watched on TV. And that night I swore, I said, I'll never box, never in my life, because boxing hurt my father so badly. I hated it. 2,000 people listening silently. But 2 days later, my father came home from hospital, called me over, said, Marvis, come with me, we'll talk. Got in car, went to Schuylkill River, parked and talked. 8 minutes. Just 8 minutes. Marvis raises head, looks at ceiling, remembering. In those 8 minutes, my father told me his childhood. Let me tell you, too, because you should know how Joe Frazier became Joe Frazier. And Marvis begins telling. Father's story, word by word, second by second, because those 8 minutes weren't just conversation, were legacy transfer. Schuylkill River bank, parked car, Joe in driver's seat, Marvis in passenger seat. 13 years old, small, scared, silent, Joe speaking, voice calm, deep, pained. Marvis, when I was 8 years old, I lived in South Carolina, Beaufort, small town, no place for black people, just cotton fields. And we worked there, my family, 12 siblings, mother, father. Pauses, looking out window, river flowing, calm. But Joe's memories not calm. Every morning, 5 o'clock we woke, went to fields, worked until sundown, my hands bleeding, cotton sharp, fingers getting cut, but couldn't stop, because father watching, voice hardening. Ruben Frazier, my father, hard man, very hard, drank alcohol, always angry, and us, he beat us, without reason, just beat us. Marvis freezing. Never heard this. About grandfather, never. Joe continues. I remember one day, I was 9, my hands bleeding so much I couldn't pick cotton. I said, Dad, it hurts. Can I rest? You know what he did? Silence. Beat me, with whip, my back bleeding. Said, Life is pain, boy. Get used to it. And that day I learned something, Marvis. Pain is inevitable. Pain coming. Every day. Whether you want it or not. Turns to Marvis. Looks in eyes. When I turned 14, I ran away. To Philadelphia. Uncle's place. First time felt free. But freedom not enough just to stay. Had to do something. Had to survive. And Uncle took me to boxing gym. Smiles. First time. Slight. Police Athletic League gym. Old. Worn down. But for me, like heaven. Walked in. Saw young men. Training. Hitting heavy bag. Sweat flowing. Suffering pain. But Marvis, there was difference. Leans forward, speaking emphatically. They chose this pain. Nobody forcing, nobody beating. They entered ring by own choice, got punched by own choice. And this was freedom. Marvis's mouth open, listening, absorbing every word. Joe, I started too, every day, morning, evening, training, hitting heavy bag, hands bleeding, just like in cotton fields. But difference was, I was choosing this pain. I was controlling it. Makes fist. In cotton fields, pain was meaningless. When father beat me, pain was meaningless. But in boxing, gym pain was meaningful because I suffered for purpose, to become strong, to become champion, to become free. Marvis quietly asks, but Dad, in Manila, you suffered so much. Eddie stopped because you were dying. Was this also choice? Joe nods. Yes, Marvis, was choice. I entered that ring. I chose to fight Ali. I chose to battle for championship. Every punch hurt, eyes closing. Couldn't see, but I'd chosen to be there. Voice rising. When father beat me, I was helpless. Couldn't control, couldn't stop, couldn't escape. Just endured. Meaningless pain. But when Ali beat me, I was warrior. Could hit back, could defend, and most important, could stop when wanted. Eddie stopped because I trusted him, said, protect me. If I go too far, stop me. And he stopped. Because choice was mine. Turns to Marvis, both hands on his shoulders. You understand, Marvis? Life will give you pain. That's real. Go to school, get bullied. Pain. Get job, get fired. Pain. Fall in love, heartbreaks. Pain. Can't escape pain. But you can do one thing. Pauses. Letting impact sink in. Can choose which pain. Meaningless or meaningful, dictated by others, or suffered for your purposes. Eyes filling. Boxing taught me this. To choose pain, to control pain, to make pain meaningful, and this made me free. First time in my life I was free. Marvis wipes eyes. But Dad, boxing dangerous. You could have died in Manila if Eddie hadn't stopped. Joe nods. Yes, might have died. But Marvis, life also dangerous, would have died in cotton fields too. Slowly, meaninglessly. When father beat me, would have died too. Soul would die. But boxing gave me chance to live meaningfully. Leans forward. Now telling you, don't have to box. Never, ever. But must do one thing. Must choose your own pain. Don't let others choose for you. You choose, whatever it is. Bullying? Face it. Failure? Accept it. Loss? Grieve it. But you choose. You control. You give meaning. Voice softening. Because Marvis, pain inevitable. But meaning your choice. And meaningful pain doesn't kill you, makes you strong. 8 minutes. Inside car, by river. Father teaching son. Life's most important lesson. Marvis sitting silently, 13 years old, but understanding. Words spinning in head. Pain, choice, control, meaning, freedom, and something changing inside. I'll never box, thought dissolving, because now understanding. Boxing didn't hurt father. Boxing saved father. Maybe one day he can learn too, to choose own pain, to find own meaning. Marvis at podium, telling 2,000 people, Father's words, those 8 minutes. My father taught me, pain inevitable, but meaning our choice. And that day, in those 8 minutes, I understood. Boxing didn't destroy my father. Boxing saved him from meaningless pain, from helplessness, from lack of freedom, voice strengthening. 1 year later, I started boxing, 14 years old, because father was right. I wanted to choose my own pain, pain meaningful to me. And boxing gave me freedom too. Pauses, looks at casket. When my father died, last word was free, because he was free, his whole life, by choosing pain, by taking control, by giving meaning himself. Wipes eyes. And now I tell you what father told me. Life will give you pain, can't escape, but can choose. Which pain? Meaningless, meaningful, dictated by others, or suffered for your purposes? Voice rising. Choose. Choose your pain. Take control. Give meaning, because this is freedom. This is strength. This is Joe Frazier's legacy. 2,000 people stand up, applauding, crying, because understood, didn't just hear boxer's story, heard man's story, man who fought for freedom, suffered for meaning, lived for choice. Marvis steps down from podium, approaches casket, places hand on top, whispers, "Thank you, Dad, for 8 minutes, for teaching me to be free. I love you, forever." Months pass. 2012, Marvis still coaching boxing. In Philadelphia, in Father's gym, every day young people coming, from poor neighborhoods, from hard lives, from painful lives, and Marvis teaching them, not just boxing, life, like Father taught him. One day, young boy comes, 14 years old, let's call him Michael, fictional, bruise on face, getting beaten at home, father alcoholic, everyday pain. Michael asks, "Coach Marvis, why should I box? Already enough pain in my life." Marvis sits, eye level with boy, just like father did with him. "Michael, pain inevitable. You're right, getting beaten at home, pain. But here, in this gym, I'll give you different pain. Chosen pain, meaningful pain." Michael confused. "What you mean?" Marvis. "When father beats you at home, you're not choosing that pain. Can't control, can't stop, meaningless. But here, in this ring, you'll choose pain. You'll train, get tired, get punched, but you'll control. You'll know when to start, when to stop, and this pain will make you strong, make you free." Michael's eyes filling. "Really?" Marvis. "Really. My father taught me this in 8 minutes, and those 8 minutes changed my life. Now I'm teaching you, because this is Frazier legacy." Michael starts training every day, morning, evening. 6 months later, home pain still there. But Michael different, stronger, more confident, because learned, if can control one pain, maybe can control all. One day tells school counselor, situation at home, social services come, Michael placed in foster care, safe home, love, first time, 2015 graduates high school, 2019 college, 2024 becomes social worker, works with children, abused children, and teaches them to choose pain, to take control, to make meaningful. 2024, Marvis, 62 years old, still coaching. One day, Michael comes to gym, 36 years old, suit and tie, successful, happy. "Coach Marvis wanted to thank you. Remember what you told me at 14 about choosing pain?" Marvis smiles. "Of course I remember." Michael. "Those words saved my life. Couldn't escape pain at home. But here I learned. There's different pain, choosable pain, and that pain made me strong. Strong enough to call social services. Strong enough to save myself." Marvis's eyes filling. "You saved yourself, Michael. I just showed the way. Michael. No coach. You gave me your grandfather's words, Joe Frazier's legacy, and now I give them to other children. Every day, every abused child, I tell, you can choose pain, can take control, can be free. Marvis hugs him. My father would be proud, very proud. And today, 2024, Marvis still teaching. Joe's words, those 8 minutes, passing through generations, because those 8 minutes weren't just conversation, were philosophy, were way of life, were legacy. Joe Frazier, born 1944, worked like slave in cotton fields, suffered meaningless pain, but 1950 found boxing, found chosen pain, and became free. 1971 beat Ali, became champion. 1975 lost to Ali, Thrilla in Manila, but didn't really lose, because entered that ring by own choice, fought for own purpose, suffered meaningful pain. 1975 taught his son, in 8 minutes, life's most important lesson, to choose pain. Marvis learned, became boxer, then coach, then teacher, carrying legacy. Michael learned, got saved, then became savior, saving other children. And now hundreds of children learning, every day, in Philadelphia, in Marvis's gym, in Joe Frazier's gym, learning to choose pain, to take control, to make meaningful, to be free. Because Joe Frazier wasn't just boxer, was teacher, was philosophy, was freedom fighter, and legacy lives. Every day, in every child, in every choice. Who are you? What pain are you living? Meaningless? Meaningful? Are others choosing for you? Or are you choosing? Because Joe Frazier teaches you something, pain inevitable, but meaning your choice. Working in cotton fields painful, but can't choose. Meaningless. Fighting in ring painful, but choosing. Meaningful. Both painful, but one kills you. Other makes you strong. Which are you choosing? Joe chose. Marvis chose. Michael chose. Now you choose. Choose your pain. Take control. Give meaning. Be free, because this is Joe Frazier's legacy. Told in 8 minutes. Proven in 36 years. Living forever. Choose pain. Choose life. Choose freedom. Like Joe.